Hi YouTube family, welcome to On the Cusp with Daphne, a place where inspiration meets evolution. In today's video, we're going to be talking about who should think twice before applying for this vacancy and the things you can do to correct that, or the things you need to avoid when applying for a UK health and care worker visa job, be it as a live-in carer, as a support worker, as a registered nurse, or as a healthcare assistant. Stay tuned to the video as I tell you more about who should not apply.
No one can do it like you.
Probably the most obvious thing that comes to mind is of someone with a criminal record. If you are that person that has a criminal record of any sort because your position as a healthcare worker, as a healthcare assistant, as a registered nurse, as a live-in carer involves working with vulnerable people who are not in a position to protect themselves or to defend themselves, it's considered that if you have a criminal record, you will not be considered for this position. Some criminal records are so minor. They were committed when people were in their juvenile years. So if you are this person that falls into this category, find out if you do not qualify for what is called expungement. This is expunging your records. It's a very legal process that is done free of charge, I want to believe, or for a minimal fee by some solicitors to expunge your records if it was perhaps a record of you stealing chocolate in a shop when you're 7 years old or something. So something along those lines can be expunged and will not appear in your criminal records because it is considered to be a minor offense that you committed when you were a juvenile. So, but overall, if you're that person that is having a criminal record, your application will not be considered, especially because the UK looks to do an enhanced level of criminal checks. So they go really deep into checking your background as far as criminal activities are concerned, which is understandable for the position you will be looking to apply for. So get your facts right, and if you fall into that category, perhaps consider whether it's worth wasting your time and other people's time to apply if this affects you directly. Then comes the question of how long does it take? How long will it take? How long should I wait? I've applied for so many so many places and I'm not hearing anything. I'd also like to say you need to be patient. The person that shouldn't be applying, who shouldn't apply, is the one who is giving themselves deadlines. Do not give yourself deadlines as to by when this process needs to happen for you, because like any other process, it will take a life of its own. It will move at its own pace, and there are so many variables and processes in the steps to which you really have no control, and that you just need to allow for the process to unfold and follow it as it happens for you. So I want to say, if you are not patient, if you are that impatient person with the process, as well as if you are an impatient person in general, think twice before applying, because the kind of job you're going to be doing, even once your process is finished, is finalized, involves you being very, very patient. You're most likely going to work in a home for vulnerable people, or in a home with people with brain cognitive deterioration, or in a place where you will be needing to work with children, where you need to repeat yourself so many times, or people with brain cognitive decline, with dementia, for example. You're going to have to explain yourself so many times, explaining the same thing over and over. So patience becomes so key, so critical, so crucial. I think it's a vital thing to make somebody aware before they even come into the job, because you do find people losing their patience, telling those clients, for example, like, I've told you this already, I've told you this so many times, to that person it makes no difference. That is how their brain function is at, it will continue to decline. So you really need to be patient and arm yourself with this ammunition in order to have enjoyable days once you start working in this role. Another person that ought to consider applying is one without references. The UK greatly believes in references. You need to be able to have someone that's going to comment on your ability, on your character, on your ability to work, on your character as a person. So at least have two of these people at the back of your mind, bearing in mind they cannot be relatives, they need to be professional references. And in many of my videos, you will notice that I do speak about the need for you to have to do volunteer work if you feel you don't have the references. So that will enable you to have at least two people who can reference you once you have done the volunteer services for them. So this should not be a deterrent for you if you're thinking of applying and you don't have the references. It's very important in the UK that people have references. They really believe in those, particularly work-related ones. So again, I go back to volunteering, which is something I have told you about before, if you are that person who does not have references. And perhaps lastly, their physical strength to do the job, since it's a manual job, is very important to know that you're physically fit, you have the ability to lift, to hold, to walk, to run. Whilst the UK is very supportive of disabilities or living with a disability, the role you're applying for will need for you to at least be upfront if you have any form of a disability or anything that you consider to be a disability on your part. So otherwise you do need to be physically fit to be able to assist other vulnerable people. But otherwise, if you are living with a disability, you may just want to look for specific jobs that are also open to people living with a disability of one form or the other. So in summary, in closing this video, we are saying who shouldn't apply for these vacancies. We are saying it's the person with a criminal record that cannot be expunged, a person who is impatient by nature especially, a person with no references. It's unlikely your application will be considered without a reference. A person who lacks the physical strength or physical endurance because the job can be quite labor intensive. It's not an office-based job or a remote job. You will need to be on the floor and applying yourself physically. So consider applying for these vacancies. Ask yourself twice if you fall into any of the above categories, and if it's something that can be corrected or something that you can inquire directly to the employers, all the better for you to do that. And wishing you the best in your quest for exploring this option as one of your many options, hopefully. Stay tuned to On the Cusp with Daphne. Don't forget to like this video, to comment below, and to share the videos I make. Thank you so much for staying tuned. See you on the next one.